So the question about the gi or kimono actually. You have a lot of words like nowadays judo gi, karate gi, kendo gi. The gi of kimono ki, it's kanji that come from the verb actually kiru, which means to wear. In French we said porter, se vêtir. When does it happen in martial art? That's the first thing we need to question before starting to talk about the bujinkan and other things. Well, we don't have actually proof that in the 14th century, 16th century, even 13th century, a primary warrior who created the first ryuha like Katori Shintoryu, Kashima Shintoryu, Nenryu, etc., etc. We have no proof that they had a particular wear for the practice. Like we know the dojo didn't exist. They used to practice with what they were. What they were, the kind of kimono, the kind of clothes they had. So if, for example, they had fortunate to have a lot of money to be part of a warlord or a daimyo, rich daimyo family, they might have different clothes, maybe for the practice or not. But I don't think this is the point of the practice. You need to be able to use or face any kind of attack, whatever the kimono, whatever the clothes you wear. So it can be ceremonial, not ceremonial, daily, casual. You have to face your enemy. So you might be in armor or not, very light armor or not. You have to face any kind of opponent, any kind of attack, no matter what. So I don't think that the gi, the clothes, is really important. You need to be able to practice with any kind of clothes. Of course, some clothes can be less easy, less, how can I say, less practical than other one. But still, when the problem happens for a warrior, when a critical situation happens, you might be, for example, drinking tea, talking with people, you have to be able to face it. So it's not because you don't have the right kimono or right gear that your technique will suffer. It's the body that does the technique, not the gi. The more imagine if you wear a fancy gi or fancy things, doesn't mean like your movement shine more. So you have to be really careful about that. I think the first time we talk about gi, like special clothes for the practice, it is from Jigoro Kano. Jigoro Kano, of course, have created a certain kind of gi for the judo. You can see the primary picture, the sleeves goes until here, and the pants are pretty much shorter, enough strong in order to resist different kind of throwing, grabbing as well. But you can see that from what Jigoro Kano created, what we have now as judogi, it's completely different. More tough, more strong, because of course people change, the body change, the training change, the intensity of the training change, the goal also. If you go for competition and things like that, you need things. Same for the karate. For example, if you're a grappler, you need something strong. If you're just someone who do like karate or Chinese martial arts, you just want something to wear. For the strike, or even can make your strike more beautiful. So you're going to have something more light, more bigger, like this. When you do a movement, like for example in Tai Chi Chuan, you can see the ondulation, the vibration of the movement, and all those kind of things is good. The hakama as well, it's something pretty much usual for most of the Japanese who can afford to have a hakama, and mainly, of course, warrior who used to wear them. There is no, for example, in Koryu, from the beginning they are created, even to the beginning of Edo area, a special clothes, a special kimono for Koryu. This have been created later. Same for the kendo, for example, or the yaido. Just for instance, when you look a Japanese kimono, more or less, you always have very long sleeves. This is where you used to put the money most of the time. So being able to using this kind of sleeves if you do judo or jujutsu modern, of course, you can see it can be not really practical for the one who does the technique and for the one who apply the technique as well. For the one who receive the technique, because you can use it for tying up, for strangling, or choking. There is a lot of things can be your clothes can be returned against you. So the more you try to focus on a certain kind of movement, a certain kind of let's say discipline, turn to sport, turns to competition, you need the clothes just for that. In that case, if we look, for example, in the Bujinkan, people doesn't wear gi, some just a t-shirt. I mean, you know, when you are in the street, you don't wear your judo gi, karate gi, or maybe, of course, if you live in Japan, you might wear a samue, something very light because it's the summer, or something a little bit more bigger when it's the winter. But still, you can see if you hold them, if you grab them, if you move inside, it is not for martial art. I mean, you grab something like this, you can scratch, you can tie, how you can say that? You can break it, you can rip off. It's very easy. So when you're in the street, you have a suit, you have anything, or even a necktie, you know, everything, a tie, everything that can be used against you or that you can use against someone. It's how you're going to use your body according to what you wear at the moment you wear it and against the attack who comes. So I don't think it is really important to matter too much about the kimono. But now, in case of etiquette, when you follow a certain kind of etiquette and rules in a dojo, I think wearing a kimono can be very nice because it teaches you a certain clean kimono, proper, because of course wearing clothes push us to talk also about the hygiene. In Japan, cleaning the dojo before or after the practice, wash your kimono just after the practice and let it in the dojo hanging. You can see this at the beginning of Aikido dojo, Karate dojo. That was something ritual and something that, because 90% of those sports martial arts have been developed into sports education system. That was a kind of rules that every student, even children, used to do. Even, for example, nowadays when you go to school or university, dojo, etc., it's the same things. They clean, they thanks, there is a lot of etiquette. Things that we don't have in Western country, for example. So when we get into a certain Japanese way of doing, there is an etiquette. The problem is, what kind of etiquette? Stiff etiquette, superficial etiquette, or true etiquette. It's like the courtesy. Your courtesy just in a superficial way in order to try to do the things, or you really courtesy from your heart. It's the same for the etiquette. Sometimes you put etiquette because people doesn't have any etiquette anymore, doesn't know how to dress, doesn't follow the code of hygiene and proper things because you practice with people. So at least everyone dress the same way, every try to do the same way, just in order to keep a certain kind of harmony. The same way also become too much stiff, unfortunately. When we look back in the days, Hatsumi Sensei was always in a kimono. Huh? Some picture again show like the kind of ninja shozoku and stuff like that who've been completely created by a writer and painting at the middle of Edo area during the Genroku period. So everyone think that the ninja was wearing clothes, you know, the hakama going like this with the things on, I mean like the gauntlet, etc., etc. It's not really this. But even if he wore that, even we have a picture of Seiko Fujita with the perfect ninja gear. Doesn't exist. Ninja doesn't have any gear. I mean, didn't have name anyway. So you can't have a clothes that reflect who you are. Problem is, with the time, you have to step out to show a certain difference with different styles. So some gonna take the white gi, some gonna take the black gi, some gonna do the purple gi, some's gonna do the pink gi, some's gonna do the red with many things, stars, change the color. Honestly speaking, you know, everyone does what he wants as long as you can respect a certain rule and condition that allow everyone to practice together. Now, it's true, if you do grappling with a t-shirt, that's strange. because grappling someone who wears a t-shirt, it doesn't work the same way as a kimono. But anyway, on the street, people are more in kimono. If you go in certain country where it's very hot, like Brazil, Mexico, some people can be naked, you know, on the plate. So that's why here the grappling works very different. I think it's important to practice in different way. If you are in a dojo, try to follow the rules of the dojo. If the dojo is very hot because of the place where you live, there is a lot of heat, it's a summer, all right, you can maybe relieve the jacket. But I think it's important to be able to practice with a jacket even if it's hot or cold, or with a t-shirt, with a sweat. It is important in the case of ninjutsu, in the case of a practical fighting technique, to be able to do with any kind of clothes, not only Japanese clothes, because in the war, even samurai, they didn't wear kimono, they had a certain light clothes under their armor and use it. You can't wear the same things. But at the same time, if it happens they are in their palace or in their castle or somewhere and someone comes to attack them and they are with the casual clothes, they need to be able to face it. So I don't think, and that's a very important thing, because when we stretch back to the past, it's the same things. I don't think that warrior in the past and founder of primary Ryuha, pretty much same with most of the Japanese who were deeply involved in the reality of the martial art. I don't think that the question about the gi or the clothes was very important. When things become more ceremonial, more under the etiquette, so the more you lose about effectiveness, the more you need rules, the more you take distance from the reality and start to set up things as a dojo way. So you can call this martial art from dojo. Well, you need things like that. And the nature of ninjutsu is to be unfixed, it's to be unpredictable, it's to be not attached to anything. So gi or not, who cares? Now we wear just in order to keep a certain unity with everyone. But if someone